Definitely one of the more stranger ways to die. As a matter of fact, I don't believe I have ever heard of anybody dying in that manner. Right behind me is 1812 Lincoln Street, and this is the building where on June 20th, 2007, two 21-year-old kids having sex on top of that roof fell right down to the street to their deaths. I'm going to explain the story as quickly as I can. We're going to take a look on top of the roof and we're going to ask ourselves why they were doing that. Without further ado, let's get right into the story. At the time of their deaths, both Brent Tyler and Chelsea Tumbleston were both working at the Wild Wing Cafe, where Chelsea was a manager and Brent, he was a bartender. Now, previous to that, Chelsea was enrolled at the University of South Carolina. She was in the nursing program, and Brent, he had attended the same school, but on a different campus in Beaufort. June 20th, 2007, it's 5 a.m., and the streets here, probably no cars, barely any traffic. So a taxi is coming from the downtown area right here, and as he's coming down Laurel Street right here, he notices two bodies lying in the roadway. They're both not moving, and they're both naked. So he immediately stops, pulls over his car, and calls 911. When paramedics arrive, they notice that these two people lying right about here where I'm standing right now are both unresponsive. I don't know if there's a pulse. I don't know if they detect any kind of a breathing or heartbeat or anything like that. So they immediately transport them to the Palmetto Health Richland Hospital, and after they dropped them off, they took them into the ER, and that is where both of them were pronounced dead. So now you have to ask yourself, well, what the hell happened? So after doing some investigating, detectives theorize that, well, these two kids, more than likely because they suffered both multiple forms of trauma, they fell off the roof of this office building. This is a building where a couple of different lawyer offices are. So after their preliminary investigation, and I don't believe they still truly know what in the hell happened, this is the story that they pretty much came out with. So these two kids, for some unknown reason or another, were on the roof of this building having sex. And at that time, there was a homeless guy that was sleeping in the parking garage right behind this building. So the detectives get a hold of this guy who pretty much witnessed part of what occurred. So he basically told the police in so many words this: they both took off their clothes, hopped over that gate right there, as you can see from the drone, and for some unknown reason or another, they walked to the slanted part of this very roof right here. And I don't know from his vantage point if he could see what they were doing, but they basically crawled or walked from the other side and sloped down. And it is believed that they engaged in some form of sexual activity, and possibly due to the shape of the roof and it being morning at that time, and maybe the dew and the water being slick, they both accidentally fell off of this roof and hit the ground right where I showed you. One of Brent's friends, who knew him from a town called Hilton Head, which is not very far from here, said that Brent was a fantastic, fun-hearted person and that they would play golf together, throw the frisbee, and that he was just an energetic guy. And Chelsea's roommate said that, you know, that was her bestie, that was her TV buddy, her dinner buddy, basically her heart and her soul. And many people absolutely love these two people. You know, it's an honest shame, you know, what happened. And me just standing here, I can't fathom whether this was just some kind of a moment of an indiscretionary act. Two kids just wanted to test the waters in terms of, I don't know, I guess you call it, I don't know what they call it, voyeurism or something like that, when people have sex in public. I have no idea. It's one thing to want to have sex in that garage, maybe take a risk, see if you get caught. I know some people are into that stuff, but it's a totally other thing to climb on top of that roof. I can't even, for the life of me, I can't even understand why somebody would want to do this. Maybe they were, maybe they had a little bit to drink, maybe smoke some pot. Who knows? But that is where they died. Just a very unusual story. I think something that we're not probably meant to understand. Laura Negrete Cerda was last seen in San Rafael, California on January 1st of 2010. She left her home to go visit friends in San Jose, California, 65 miles to the south. She told her husband she would be back the next day. She has never been heard from again. Cerda did not drive at the time of her disappearance and used public transportation to get around. She was supposed to take a Greyhound bus to San Jose, but there is no record of her having purchased a ticket. Few details are available in her case. She is described as a Hispanic woman, 35 years of age, 5'1" and 240 pounds. She was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt and black pants. She had red hair, brown eyes, a scar on her left cheek, and her ears are pierced. If anybody has any information on the disappearance of Laura Negrete Cerda, please contact the San Rafael Police Department, 415-485-3000.